Good afternoon, good afternoon. It's Tiago's Father 89 here from the Red Sea podcast, and you are locked in to a quick fire episode of us discussing the latest, the big, the massive transfer news that Liverpool have tied the deal for Luis Diaz in the January transfer window. It was a deal that was building all over this window where Liverpool were looking like we weren't going to do anything and Spurs were going to seal the deal. But Liverpool nick in there at the 11th hour and snatched the deal from away from Spurs to sign the player, another wide player. What could this mean for Liverpool Football Club? What could this mean for the players that we already have in the squad? We're going to get into it. We're going to delve into everything. That is Luis Diaz on the other side of our intro. We have liftoff.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. But Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of our field gold. We are all supporters, and we come from Liverpool.
We're here with a quick fire episode of the Red Sea podcast ahead of our Transfer Tuesday show, our deadline show, which will be airing live on the show tomorrow. But it's big breaking news. Liverpool enter the transfer market in January for another time. We think about historic deals for Virgil van Dijk, which took place in January. Massive deal for Liverpool Football Club. We talk about Daniel Sturridge joining Liverpool Football Club in January window as well. Players like Luis Suarez joining us in the January transfer window. And we've sat here over recent years and it's been a little bit of doom and gloom saying, we're not going to be active. We're not going to do anything. But FSG come to the table and it's a player which we've been looking at for a little while. We've been looking at sort of wide players over the course of the window. And this deal represents a big statement from Liverpool Football Club, from FSG, to get this player in the window. The reported fee is an initial £37 million, which will go straight to Porto, and then further add-ons for the deal as well. The player will wear the shirt number 23. The 25-year-old has signed a 5.5-year deal with Liverpool Football Club. So that's going to take him well into his 30s and also protect the value of the player as well for Liverpool Football Club. The deal broke directly on Sky. I know that a few people have been murmuring about this on Twitter that it was coming. Diaz underwent a medical in Argentina where he's currently playing for Colombia during the World Cup qualifiers. And Colombia actually came unstuck in that game against Peru in the World Cup qualifiers where Peru scored late on to snatch the lead in the group away from Colombia. But he was bright in that game as well, and I tuned into it just to watch a little bit of football live. And guys, the ones that know me and that follow the Red Sea podcast, I do watch a bit of continental European football, but I can't sit here and proclaim that I know everything about this player because I don't. It's an unknown quantity to me. So guys, in the comments, if you know anything or any points that you want to bring up about this player, please do. As I said, I do know that Liverpool have been looking at him for a little while. There's still a few formalities to take place, such as the work permit that needs to be arranged for him to come into the club. It's unlikely that he'll arrive with the club soon. It'll probably be in the later stages of next week as well. Liverpool's next home game is against Cardiff in the FA Cup on Sunday, the 6th of February. Do we believe that he could potentially feature in that game? Obviously, we know what Jurgen Klopp is like. He doesn't just throw players in. It takes a while to bed these players in to get them to accustomed to the way that we play. But if we just look at how we're assembled in the forward line at the moment, we've got depth. Depth is always something that we've discussed as Liverpool fans, going, the depth isn't enough. The strength in depth isn't right. We haven't got the correct players at our disposal. But adding this player to our squad is massive. It's absolutely massive. And guys, in the comments, I want to hear what you think in regards to what this means for the rest of the squad. What does this do for the complex of the Liverpool lineup going forward? We're talking about, and myself and SS have spoken about this on a number of occasions, and what Liverpool 2.0 potentially looks like. and it seems like it's starting to take shape. We think about Ibrahim Konate as a centre-back. You know, the horrific injury to Virgil van Dijk, the horrific injury to Joe Gomez, and obviously we know that Matip has his injury issues as well, but Konate coming in strengthens that defensive line. Timikas has come in as well and strengthened that defensive line. Queven Callagher has been absolutely fantastic when called upon as an able understudy to arguably the best goalkeeper in world football, and Alisson Becker. In the midfield areas, we've got bright prospects such as Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott in the midfield area as well, with the preferred three of obviously Thiago when fit, Henderson and Fabinho, which is the mainstays in the middle of that park. But the important thing is that we've got players coming through in those positions. You know, Ox has started to play cameo roles and been bright, scored in his last appearance for the club. So we're in a good place there. When we head into the forward line, on that left-hand side, Sadio Mane, the absolute beast and demon that man is, when he's in full flight, he's unplayable. Heading through the centre, Diego Jota, who can also play wide left as well, is an absolute scoring machine. And Liverpool done some fantastic business in the last transfer window or previous transfer windows with Diego Jota coming into the club. Absolutely fantastic bit of business there as well. The man himself, Bobby Firmino, the number 9, the false number 9, who's arguably reinvented and made that position his own. And then we look out to the wide right position where we have the best player in world football, the number 1, the main event at the moment in Mo Salah. We then look at sort of the backup players in Divock Origi, who, when again he's fit and he's been playing a consistent run of games, he's contributed. Taki Minamino, who's missed the cup competition and has done absolutely fantastic in the cups this year as well, because we've needed that in order to give the players that respite, that opportunity to unwind, and not the pressure to constantly play back-to-back games, which arguably culminated in the injury crisis which we had last year. And then to add that little Colombian bit of flair in there in Luis Diaz is absolutely fantastic. So the attacking options that we now have at our disposal, I would say at the moment, if I look at any forward lines in the Premier League, is unmatched. It's unrivaled. Chelsea do not have the forward line that we have now. Manchester City are currently playing some sensational football, but without a recognised number 9. You know, they're close to potentially tying down a deal for a young player from River Plate. But currently, they're operating without a number 9 and doing it very successfully, you have to say. But when we look at out-and-out strikers and strike forces in the Premier League, Liverpool are unmatched in that department. It is unreal, the strength and quality that we have going forward in there. So going to get to a couple of your comments, and thank you for joining us, guys, on this lovely sunny Sunday afternoon. And we love all things transfer, especially when Liverpool dip into the market in the January transfer window and pull an absolute worldie out. Hello to you. Thank you for joining us. Ali A, big up yourself, mate. Yeah, it's happened. You know, we were doubters, but Liverpool always turn doubters to believers, and we've done it again in the January transfer window. Big shout out to my co-host SS. He's on daddy duty, so can't join us today, but I'm sure he'd love to be getting his teeth into this. And we're probably going to hear a lot from SS on this on our deadline day show. You know, coming up tomorrow. Yeah, great player, great price. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, same to you, Ali A, as well. Ali A saying work permit is done. I'm not so sure, mate. Everything I've been reading is to say the work permit isn't guaranteed yet. But I don't think it will be a problem getting that through. Yeah, front 5 into 3 is much better. I know. It looks absolutely amazing. This comment here from SS, Taki and Origi are done. I don't know, you know. Maybe one of them makes way, but we've seen obviously that Leeds made a bid for Taki Minamino, and Liverpool said they're not going to let the player go unless it's an extraordinary bid. Could that change in the next couple of hours, or could that change? You know, in the deadline day show. You know, could we be reporting in a deadline day show that that one of those guys depart? I mean, Taki's been amazing when he's come in for us. Of late, he's actually contributed. He's scoring goals in the cup. He looks like he's settling into life as a Liverpool player. As I said before, Divock Origi, as much as we get onto him here on this show because we know what he's capable of, We think about the legendary goals that he scored, corner taken quickly. That's something you're hearing now on grassroots football pitches, just to mimic that Divock Origi moment in the Champions League against Barcelona. That is legendary. And then the winning goal in the final as well. We think about the goal against Everton that he scored as well. When the ball's off the crossbar and Pickford has that moment of madness and he nods it in, and that keeps Liverpool's title-winning season on track. So Divock has contributed in major moments in the club, but has his career at Liverpool Football Club kind of run its course? And does the arrival of Luis Diaz change where Origi views himself in the squad? He's always been comfortable being that kind of backup player, that understudy, the player to come in and contribute in moments. But is he going to look at it and say, well, there's 5 of us now, and how am I going to get in against him? Because this guy's an absolute beast. So do I back my ability to go somewhere else and go and play football somewhere else? That's definitely a question that Divock Origi is probably going to be asking himself. Big up to the rest of you guys here as well in the comments. Wouldn't this be epic? Wouldn't this be epic? Our departing sporting director in Michael Ed was obviously giving us a parting gift. That last minute present that he's chucked under our nose and said, "Here you go, boys. This is a bit of a legacy present for you, just to let you know what I'm all about." But I have said before that the incoming man, Julian Ward, is not afraid of spending where he sees value. Liverpool have spent in the transfer market. I saw a stat the other day, 220 million spent versus Chelsea's 220 million spent. And what we've managed to get for that 220 million pounds, Sadio Mane was included in there, Jota was included in there, Salah was included in there, Thiago was included in there, and someone went a bit premature and put Diaz in there as well. Combined fees of up to 220 million pounds, but over a much wider, a much wider space of time in comparison to Chelsea's recent splurges in the transfer market. And Chelsea have stuttered. The squad hasn't gelled. They've had injuries and they've struggled to replicate and put that form on the football pitch, which means once again, we are Manchester City's nearest challengers. Manchester City have been phenomenal this season. They've been relentless. The only team which I know that are able to put back-to-back wins together, it's not draws, it's wins. 12 wins on the bounce. That's unreal. And then ultimately culminating, going for the 13th in a draw, and has given Liverpool that little glimmer of hope. Is this signing of Luis Diaz what we need to try and kick on in the title race? Because I firmly believe it's not over. My co-host SS might believe otherwise, and big shout out to you, my man, but I don't think it's over. Currently, the gap is in 9 points with a game in hand. If we win the game in hand, that's 6. We then have to go to the Etihad in April. We could make that 3 points if we continue to win our games. And it's a big ask, but Liverpool are capable of doing the undoable. We're capable of pulling off the unthinkable. Doubters to believers. We think about the success that's been had in recent years with the club. With our backs have been against the wall, we've pushed hard and we've managed to deliver when it really, really counts. Can this signing of a forward player give that injection that we need? Are the other forward players such as Mane, Jota, Bobby, Salah, are they going to get that little push, that little kick up the arse to go, do you know what? We need to show this boy that we're the nailed on here. You got to wait for your turn. And is he going to come in training and ruffle a few feathers and show his quality and push those boys for a starting place? That is what we need. We need competition in places, and this signing does that. So let's get into a few more of your comments as well. Big shout out for you guys. Also, thank you. Big up yourself as well, mate. Big shout out to the guys over at GrizzCon TV as well. He was talking about Diaz for a long time, so I will give Grizz his flowers. Grizzy's a friend of the channel. And Avi as well. I'll give Avi his flowers also. He was talking about Diaz last season, saying this is a player that Liverpool need to sign. So big up Blue Chip Avi and big up Grizz as well, because you guys have been on the money a couple of times with what Liverpool have been doing. So massive shout outs to you as well. Yes, mate, it's done dusted, son. It's in the bag. Yeah, we've definitely signed him. This isn't Fekir Part 2 We don't want to relive that nightmare where apparently we signed a player and then we didn't. And this is done. Sky News have broken the transfer. This is a done deal. I can't see anything falling apart for this deal. Liverpool flew over to Argentina to conduct the medical yesterday. The medical's done. It's done, dusted. We're good. There's no late injuries that we're aware of. There's no random heart conditions that are being plucked out of thin air. Fakir-esque stuff and dramas. It's done. So yeah, you can rest, Ravi. It's in the bag. Big shout out to you as well, Ali. Thank you for joining us. I hope we sign Mane and Bobby and Salah to new deals. Who knows what this looks like for the landscape of that forward line? We have to be very open and honest about this. That forward line is turning 30 all at the same time, and we've brought in a player with decent quality to supplement that, to give those guys the rest that they need. And it's interesting that we've been looking at wide players to play in that position, but Diaz can also play a multitude of positions as well. He isn't just rooted to that left-hand side. Watching him for Colombia, we saw him cutting in and trying to get shots off on goal. We've seen the clips for Porto where he bursts off that left-hand side and unleashes that phenomenal top bin strike. That's kind of like his headline goal at the moment. Just want to get into what a few other publications are saying. The Echo have reported it now as well. It's in the Echo. Luis Diaz completes £49 million transfer to Liverpool from Porto. Liverpool have completed the signing of Luis Diaz for a deal worth £49 million, beating Tottenham Hotspurs to his signature. I mean, what does this mean for Conte? Are we beating Spurs to the signature and then force Conte to resign? Spurs are in the mud. How amazing would that be? The Reds have made their move in the closing stages of January transfer window to bring in highly rated Colombian international to Anfield. Diaz has put pen to paper on a 5-year contract at Anfield after Liverpool agreed the deal, which could rise to £49 million with Porto. He will wear the number 23. So get your asses down the club shop and get Diaz 23 plastered all over the back of your shirts, because it's happened. It's here. It's ready to go. The 25-year-old was believed to have had a £67 million release clause in his contract, but Porto have been forced to take the financial hit, finishing third in their Champions League group behind Liverpool and Atletico Madrid. Mate, that right there, that sounds like 3D chess, because we aced the group, the so-called group of death. We went in there, we smashed the group of death, and then we plunged Porto into financial difficulty, which means that we can take their best player. That is absolutely epic. That is epic from Jurgen Klopp. Porto are now, read it, guys. Porto are now in financial difficulty and have had to sell their most prized asset at a loss to the team that they lost to in the Champions League. This is how big the Champions League is. It's massive. Just getting back to the Echo article as well. As a result, the Reds bid £37 million with a further £12 million in add-ons, and the bid was accepted. Anfield sources believe an early move for Diaz presents better value for the club, with Porto initially eyeing a fee in the excess of £49 million in the summer, which was the Ringers' original asking price. So Porto's hand has been forced in this. They didn't want to do this, but their hand has been forced. They've had to go and sell their prized asset at a loss. Tottenham Hotspur were heavily linked with the signing of Diaz, but Liverpool have stolen a march on their Premier League rivals. They're not rivals, bro. They're not rivals. To bring them forward to Merseyside, Liverpool sent get my words out. Liverpool sent delegations out to meet Diaz in Argentina over the weekend, with the medical being completed. Diaz will travel to Liverpool towards the end of next week once the international commitments are fulfilled. Maybe he'll jump on a plane with Ali to come back. That would be great, because obviously Alisson's out there on international duty with Brazil from the same region of the world. They might come back on the same flight together. That would be a massive welcome to Liverpool Football Club. Hello, mate. You're on the flight with the best goalie in the world. Let's just jump into a few more of your comments as well. Ali, yeah, Avi, yeah, knew from day one. No, big. I said big shout out to Blue Chip. Avi, he was all over this, and he's been screaming this for a whole year. So I will give Avi his flowers. Big shout out to you, my man. Big friend of the channel. You have to give these people their flowers because major publications will say they broke the news first, whereas guys like us on the ground have been talking about these players for the last season. For the last 18 months, we've been talking about these players, especially Avi and Grizz. They've been talking about this player for the last 18 months. I think I've been talking to Grizz and seeing stuff about Grizz saying about Diaz, same as Avi. But major publications will go, "We broke the news first." No, you didn't. It's bollocks. You might have the most media coverage than us smaller guys here, but no. Do you know what? I'm gonna shout it. Avi broke the news first. Avi broke it first. Blue Chip Avi broke that news first. So shout out to you, man. You did it. You did it before everybody else. Big shout out to you as well, Vic. Thank you for joining us again. Keep Taki and Origi till the end of the season. Still in all 4 comps. That's a big shout. We are still in all 4 comps. We are. And whilst there was a bit of doom and gloom, probably about 3 weeks ago, didn't know where the Liverpool season was going to turn. We're in a final. We're going to Wembley. Yeah, Anfield South, as they say. Yeah, we're going to our second home and potentially walking back with some silverware. We're in a position where, look, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to say it. Could we do a treble? Could we do a treble? Could it happen? Could all the stars align and Liverpool win the League Cup? Liverpool win the Champions League because we're well positioned. 6 out of 6 in the group stages. And then could we chase down City and win the league? That would be epic. What an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. And what I want to switch the conversation to, and guys in the comments, yeah, I want you to contribute. Does this get the monkey off FSG's back for a little while longer? Do we start to look at FSG and say, do you know what? You're all right, actually, because you've spent a bit of money. Or are we still pushing FSG to do more? Because there's the fan base, and certainly us guys here at the Red Sea podcast, and certainly my co-host Southern Scouser has been really critical of FSG and their dealings in the transfer market, and almost going for those nearly men, those prospects. But this lad has got some decent pedigree. He's got some decent pedigree, and we've gone into the window when we could have potentially lost this player to another Premier League club. I won't call them a rival because they're nowhere near us in the league and never have been. So I won't call them a rival. I'm not going to give them any flowers. But another Premier League team was really, really on it for this guy. They wanted Diaz. They were hunting him. And Liverpool came in and said, nope, not today. He's ours. Boom. Deal done. The news was broke on Thursday, Friday, and we're now Sunday and the deal's done. They've moved quickly to get their man. So how do we feel about FSG currently in this market and where they're at? How do we feel about what FSG are currently doing in the market and where they're at? Do we give them their props? So guys, jump in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are about FSG in the current climate, and whether we now start to get behind them and start to get behind the project as we usher in the new era of Julian Edwards and Liverpool 2.0. Ali A, thank you for your contributions, my man. Scott Klopp has spoken to the player, Thiago's father. Mate, he always speaks to them. When he picks up that phone, and you can imagine that big grin that's on my face right now, and it's just that laugh. And then, throwback here, when Alisson Becker signed for Liverpool, he spoke about it, that he got the phone call and all he could just hear is Klopp's laugh down the other end of the phone. And he just started laughing, and then it was just a done deal from there. I can imagine the phone call is much the same, where he's just laughing down the other end of the phone, because Klopp is just the best. He's infectious. The personality is infectious. Jurgen Klopp is unreal. Ali Age, yeah, Julian Ward is pivotal in the deal. Julian Ward has been next to Michael Edwards for probably the last 18 months to 2 years. This Edwards thing isn't anything new. We knew this was coming. We knew it was happening. We knew at some point that Michael Edwards would depart the club. 10 years at the club in a multitude of roles, which has culminated in the current structure which we see now, him as our sporting director. And Julian Ward has been there every step of the way over the last 2 years, learning the ropes, basically bedding into the role ready for the day when Michael Edwards departs. The fact that Julian Ward has been pivotal in this deal doesn't surprise me. It really, really doesn't. You know, it's got his paw prints all over it because the fee is 49 or rising to 49 million pounds. That's a lot of dough in a January transfer window. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk at 75 M's, but still, that's a lot of dough in a January transfer window from what we've seen in recent years. And I have said this, and guys, I want you to understand, this man is not scared of splashing the pound notes. He's not scared of going into clubs and taking their number one asset, which we've done today. We've gone into a club and taken their number one asset. Julian Ward was also involved in the Jota deal. We went into Wolves and took their number one asset. And look, second top scorer in the Premier League. Unreal from Diego Jota right now. There was raised eyebrows when we got Diego Jota in, and the way the deal has been structured, £5 million up front, 10 million paid over 4 years. That is daylight robbery. And everyone goes, oh, why have you signed Jota? Why don't we get Werner? Werner's the man. Look at where Timo Werner is now, hugging the bench at Chelsea. So Julian Ward has been unreal in the last 18 months to 2 years since he started to get involved more so in the daily run-ins of the transfers and the daily activity of contract renewals and player relations that goes into that sporting director's role, the scouting department as well, working closely with them for the day that Michael Edwards does depart. It will be a sad day because Edwards has been pivotal in Liverpool's recent successes, and we cannot, sit here and deny that and underpin what that man's done for Liverpool Football Club. He's been part of this era that we're experiencing, and long may it continue under Julian Ward. Big shout out to you. I have to big up the Colombian journalist as well, who was in the Diaz Liverpool from day one. Also, yeah, big up those guys also, because like I said, big publications will take credit and not give these guys their flowers, but you have to recognize that the world of media is turning. The guys that are on the ground, the little guys like us, the little guys like Blue Chip Avi, the guys like Grizz, shout out to Terry at the Football Terrorist. Shout out to my guys over at Never a Foul, Ty and Daps over there who do some amazing work. Supri does some amazing work as well. Shout out to the guys over at Redmen TV. We're small fish in a big, big pond, but we're making waves because these guys will take all the credit. I have no doubt that these guys scout and look into some of the bigger shows. The likes of the Football Terraces out the world, the likes of the Redmen TVs out there. They the likes of United Stand. They'll look at those shows and go, what snippets can we take from that? We're already seeing their former players and Sky broadcasters and presenters doing their own podcasts, because this is where it's at, guys. The raw, uncovered footage where we give it to you live and direct. Big shout out to you again. He can play left wing, centre forward and right wing, so he can play right across the front three. That is unreal. That is unreal. Mate, can you imagine? Can you actually imagine if it's Hey Jude in the summer? Oh, mate, the tweet will just go viral. It will go absolutely viral. Big shout out to USS as well. We're always signing players that will play well against us. It seems to be that way. You think about Alisson Becker. You think about Mane, who played well against us as well. We've gone in for him. Alisson Becker, who played well against us. Next season, we signed him. Virgil, who had great games against us. Konate, Taki. We're almost on scouting missions when we're playing against these teams, which is great. Fabrizio Romano as well. Yeah. Guys, I just want to get in some of your comments in regards to the FSG thing. It's gonna happen. I know a couple of people in the Twitter world have all been panicking, going, "Oh my God, this means that Salah's leaving." There is no way they're gonna let the world's best player leave the club, because I'm gonna be honest. I'm not FSG out. I'm FSG step the fuck up. And I feel this deal in this January transfer window, in the current climate, they've stepped up. They've stepped up. So I'm going to cut them a little bit of slack. I'm going to get off the FSG out bandwagon and I'm going to jump on the FSG step up bandwagon because this deal's huge. It's massive. You know, beating a rival club to the transfer and signing of a player, all concluded from what we can see in the open media in 3 to 4 days. That's huge. Representatives over in Argentina, yesterday, the news broke on Thursday / Friday. They're on the next flight, boom, straight out there. Medical's done, deal's done, boom, announced on the Sunday. That's huge. So we have to now accept and maybe give FSG half a bouquet of flowers. Give them half. They can get the other half if they continue. Dude, I want this so bad. I've watched this kid for a while. And again, Blue Chip Avi, shout out to you. Another one who's been banging this kid's praises. I want this kid. He is unreal. He's unreal. Guys, if you haven't, just tune into some Fulham games. Take some time and watch some Fulham games just to watch this kid. He is unreal. Unreal. Yeah? Like, just do it because you will not be disappointed. Yeah, Fulham, I'm going to gain you guys some fans. Yeah, I think so too. Number 23 shirt, and I believe he takes a number 7 from Milner next season. If Milner does choose to depart, the number 7 is an iconic shirt number. So I think so too. We are going to see a lot of Colombian fans as well. You're going to see a lot of Colombian fans, but that's good. That's good marketing and good commercial revenue for the club. That's huge because we're going to be touching out to South America, where United have got fans, City have got fans, Liverpool have got fans out there as well. But just to kind of help with that balance in bringing those fans to Liverpool Football Club is going to be massive. Shout out to you guys that are joining us. We're going to start to close the show currently as well. I don't know about that. You got to give Curtis Jones his flowers as well because Curtis is unreal also. Guys, get your comments in just as we close because the big news is that Liverpool have completed the signing of Luis Diaz for an initial £37 million with a fee rising to £49 million, including add-ons. It's absolute daylight robbery. It is. Yeah, great fact there. It is. Other successful Colombian players that have been in the Premier League, other not so successful Colombian players that have been in the Premier League because they went to the wrong side of the Mersey. But another one, apparently James Rodriguez was instrumental in encouraging him to go to Liverpool instead of Everton because Everton had some rumours interest to start with as well. And he's come to Liverpool. Maybe James delivering that kind of last fatal blow for Everton because they are in the mud right now. But I think they're about to get Frank Lampard as their new manager, so they're going to get the tell Jurgen Klopp to fuck off on the touchline trophy in the bag again. Yeah, which will be interesting. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm not saying he doesn't play like him because I think there are a lot of characteristics there as well. But I think Curtis Jones is able to operate in the same position as him and play at the same tempo and in the same way. So I think we should also give him his flowers also, which will be good. Yeah, he did. Again, shout out to Grizz Khan. I don't know if it will happen in the summer though. Everything I'm being led to believe is I don't know if it will happen in January. Everything that I'm being led to believe will be in the summer. Like we did with Harvey Elliott, his contract runs out and he's not signing a new deal. We'll take the player and then we'll probably have to pay them a fee, like a small fee. It'll end up going tribunal again, like we did with Harvey Elliott, and pay them a small fee. So I don't think it will happen in January. Everything I'm being led to believe will be a summer deal, and I don't think the kid should leave in January either. If I'm being honest. Fulham are playing some good football. He's getting regular games at Fulham. Fulham have got their own sort of exploits that they're looking at from their point of view. So it will be madness for us to disadvantage Fulham when we don't really need the player. They're pushing for promotion. They're top of the championship at the moment on 58 points. Last 5 games, 5 wins, and he's been instrumental in that. They've got Blackburn Rovers breathing down their neck on 53 points, but Fulham have a game in hand, so they're the runaway championship leaders at the moment. So it would be wrong for us to just jump in there and just take one of their best players. It just doesn't make sense for him to come and sit on the bench or go and play with the 23s. I just don't think it makes sense for us to do that. What does my dream summer look like? Just some movement in that midfield. I think we need to get some players in that midfield and replace a few bodies, because that midfield is aging slightly. For me personally. I've heard that, but I just think it wouldn't make sense. It would be selfish from a club perspective. We don't. If he comes in January, does he play? No, he doesn't play. Who vacates for him to play? He doesn't play. So leave the kid at Fulham. It's better for his football education. There's no reason why we can't sign him in the summer on a free. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, there might be other clubs that come in and go, oh, we want him or whatever not. But if the player wants Liverpool, then he comes to Liverpool. If he doesn't want Liverpool, then we don't want him. It's very simple. But guys, we're just going to wrap the show up. Thank you for joining us on this quick fire episode of the Red Sea podcast. The news broke. Liverpool complete the signing of Luis Diaz from Porto for an initial £37 million, with the fee rising to potentially £49 million with add-ons. Thank you for joining us. We are over and we are out.